a lot of things that need to get done and don't have a lot of time as usual. Yep, I went ahead and hit that gym this morning. Yeah, we it's an elimination challenge, so I don't really have well, I do have a choice, but I just don't, want to lose. How are you doing this morning? Yeah, I'm extremely competitive, so for me it's going to be I got to get up in the morning, get going. Mondays are my slowest days, I'll be honest with you. Trying to get things moving is hard on a Monday. But I did have a great weekend. I went to did a show this past weekend where I was, giving out like some free art for some kids and some adults. That's very cool. That's very cool. Might have to hit you up one day to have you make me a custom chessboard. So that would be a cool piece to have for my collection. I miss playing chess. All right, let me close that out and get my other stuff. Okay, let's see here. Pull my stream up here. All right, let's get all this stuff set up. Let's go here. So this morning we're gonna work on this guy. How you doing, Cookie? Welcome to the stream. So this is one of two covers that I have to knock out today. Um, did you get any? Yeah, that stuff that you created was really dope. Let me find my ink pens here. Not wrong. There we go. So, how was y'all's weekend? Did you enjoy, the show and all that fun stuff? Okay, let's get this going. Did anybody else feel like the Super Bowl was like probably the worst Super Bowl that they've had in a minute? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it was kind of like lackluster for me. I really actually, I go in there. I want to see good commercials. That's my thing, and there was a couple in there that were really good, but for the majority of it, it was kind of lame. I feel like they didn't try that hard this year, or if they did, they were really like doing the very least. It's kind of weird. Even The trailer commercials were kind of weird. Yeah, but this year was really bad. I mean, the creativity is like crap. The one with the Dunkin' Donuts, and for some reason, whenever Ben Affleck does his stuff with Dunkin' Donuts, it's always funny. And this one was really cool. How they did a throwback to the '90s and '80s. That was cool. Oh, see that would have been a smart play. I should have done that myself. I definitely should have done that instead of just watching the game. But we had like family and friends over, so I had to entertain. My wife tapped out in I think the third quarter. She was just like, "This is boring," which I don't blame her. See, I was I'm not sure about that one. All I know is that they were trying to do some kind of weird. You could win $1 million solving some kind of code or something like that. It wasn't for me. That's the only thing I could think of that they were doing there. Um, See, I feel like Marvel messed up this year. They should have run a big ad. That would have probably put them in a bigger spot than I think what they're doing. But I don't control marketing, but that's what I would have done because all the commercials that came out were ass. That would have made people watch, in addition to wanting to see the Super Bowl or seeing the halftime show or anything like that. Yeah, it was definitely a missed opportunity on their end. Yeah, they really pooped the bed on that one. And the justification, like that, the pundits say, is that the movie is not for what is it, another 10 months, but why not get people excited now? Yeah, I had no interest in that. So how did you end up doing on your whatnot stream? You get some new customers. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to make sure that when I decide to go ahead and make that move, because I want one. I want a custom one. Um, I don't want one that anybody else has. So definitely, for sure. That's okay. I mean, you never know. When I decide to go ahead and make that move, you might have that equipment. Yeah, I just don't know when I'm gonna do that yet because I know it's gonna be a hell of an investment. My father did like years ago. They had a set called the Civil War chess set. So because my dad was a big historian buff, he ended up purchasing one. But after everything was said and done, I think, even for that time, I think the chessboard ended up coming out to like $600, and that's with all the custom figures and all that stuff. It'd have been well more than that, but it took like a year or 2 years for him to get all the pieces because they would piecemeal it out to him because it was so expensive. He could have bought the whole thing at a different cost, but it just wasn't something that he had in his budget to do at the time. Oh, okay. Well, 10 by 10 is not bad. That's doable. Just means the squares will be a little smaller. Yeah. Wow. Somebody else knows about that set. That set. Yeah. That was my jam back in the day. My dad actually taught me how to be a great chess player on that set. He taught me about strategy through there. And I would love to have one that um, has the resin pour in it. I mean, I can do it myself, but if I can give a little business to somebody, that would be the better play to do because it'll take something off my plate. Because I like being creative, but I'd rather have give it up to somebody else. What is going on, Gabe? Good morning. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We still have that. That's not something that we would get rid of. Yeah, that's one thing. Um, whenever my mom passes, that'll definitely be coming to me because that's my the one thing that I'd probably say out of my dad's stuff that I would keep. Like there's stuff and then there's like memories, and that's a core memory for me. That would be dope. Man, I gotta go get my other charger. I didn't realize this thing was so low. There we go. Yeah, I gotta do that down the road. I have other things that are on my plate first. Who the hell? Oh, that's my lawn dudes. Sorry, I had my lawn guys coming through. I didn't realize it was them. Yeah, my goal is to take whatever like funds and stuff like that I get from here, and I would use that for my fun stuff. I'm still trying to build up this community so that way I can do that. Okay, she's looking good. That would be cool. You know what would be really neat, and I don't know if you could do this, but I'm a big collector of like Lego cars, and I'm trying to make like wall plates for them so that way I can hang them. So that's something down the road I would probably like to do. So I have a McLaren, a Ferrari, and a couple of F1 cars, and I would love to have something for that because I'm going to hang them in my other office just so they can look really dope. So you'll have to let me know what price wise what you charge for something like that. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, whenever you get a chance, send it on over. Boba Fett. What about Boba Fett? Oh, I wanted to throw this out here. So I know we were talking about commercials before, and I'll come back to the other stuff that we are talking about. But they put out the Mandalorian trailer probably a couple weeks ago, and I have to say I'm not very impressed. I really thought it was going to look more like a movie, but it literally looks like the Disney show. Oh, okay. And hey, Gabe, I just want to let you know I have notifications for a couple of your shows, so I can finally watch one or two of them. They're on days that I don't have anything else going on, so I can make sure it has my full attention. I think Black Cat's getting to the spot. She's almost to the color part, so I'm very happy. It took me a little while to get this one like really where I wanted it to be. And the sad part was is when I was doing this, I ended up almost forgetting to do her mask, which is like a signature piece for her, but I caught it in time. Yeah, I sent out the pieces to custom the other day. So you know how I did that spawn. He was very happy, which I was hoping for. I mean, you don't want to disappoint. I put a lot more love into that one than I really had intended, but when it comes to spawn, I can't half-ass it. Even the one, like I put one that I did on Saturday. It's just literally it's probably the cheapest one that I did, but it's about it's a 6x10, so it's on one of these on the backboard. Um, yeah, so he's gonna take that piece and he's gonna do his magic to that. But that's one of the reasons why I had to make sure I had all that detail in there because I didn't want it to be like boring. So even like this one, I wanted her to have a certain look. Like I kept her signature gloves so that way she could look like that with the claws. Um, because I thought that was definitely part of her. Just little things that I thought would just be that would pop for this character. Yeah, honestly, prior to custom ordering this character, I had not drawn Black Cat in probably like 12 years. I can say that with my whole chest because I'm pretty sure that's how long it's been. I think we're going to do this black all the way through. I wish. I mean, hopefully down the road, me and Custom can do some more because I think my style, because the way I do my inks and whatnot, it works well with his cutting style. So it makes it easy for him to cut all that stuff out. But thank you for the compliment. Yeah, he definitely has a talent. I love seeing what he can do. And let's see, we're gonna do off of that finger. Here we go. Yeah, making sure I get these negative space areas is hard because my brain has to work differently. Yeah, I mean, hey Laflo. Yeah, his stuff is just unique. I mean, the fact that he's able to do that with um, against somebody else's artwork, that's pretty awesome. I think he's super talented. So I have some stuff that I will be working on here. Um, so I'm going to kind of shift gears a little bit this week. I have a show coming up at the end of in a little under 2 weeks, and it's a card show. It's my first like official card show, and myself and one of my friends are probably the only custom artists there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make custom Pokemon cards that are exclusive to this show, and it'll be my first set that I'm doing. Um, and they'll be illustrated cards, so they're definitely going to be a one-off. Like lots of work is going to go into them. Like they'll be hollow, like they'll be have the holographic tone to them. So I'm going to I got to go to Staples and get some clear transparencies made, and those will go over my artwork. It's going to be a very unique process. I'm looking forward to pulling that one off. Never done this one before, so I'm going to do a couple trial runs, do some basic characters. Um, I'd rather mess up a couple that aren't that good and then get my process down. Because once I have it, I mean, I'm in good shape. Yeah, I got the holographic um sheets. I can get those. Yeah, I already have those in my cart, and they have all the different patterns. The problem is that so on the Pokemon card, you know how they have the stats for the character. Thank you. I'll take a look at that in just a second. So you know how they have the stats of the character. Well, I don't want to illustrate all that stuff. I want to basically take a sheet, put it on top of my artwork so it has all the stats, and then put the holographic piece on top of that. So it'll almost be like pressed twice. Well, not actually, almost. It will be. But what ends up happening is that the I got to double check the holographic sheets. I'm pretty sure are adhesive based. So that's not going to be a problem. It's making sure that the stat sheet, because it's still going to be clear and it's got all the stats printed on it, that has to be like, when I put it on, it has to be straight and all that stuff. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, and just to show you my process. So I'll have a card just like this, and I can draw it just like I do my other cards. So I want to kind of maintain that quality that I have on there. Then I'll put a clear sheet with all the stats on top of that. And then I can put my hologram or holographic clear sheet on top of that. And then what I'll do is I'm going to buy some Pokemon cards, and then I'm going to just adhere those to the back of the card. So that way you got like this nice, thick, good quality card versus that flimsy stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely going hardcore on that piece. So I really want people to, when they get it, I want them to walk up and stop. That's the point. Um, I've gotten. I was lucky enough to talk with one of my buddies. We got a list, and I think my list is about 20 characters deep, which isn't bad. That's something that's very attainable. And like I said, with Pokemon characters, they're simple shapes, so it shouldn't be too bad to do. Because the show's on the 21st, I'm sure that I can get at least 20 of them done by that time. And if I do multiple characters, like if I do the same character, I can do different variations of them and sell those too. And it'll also give me a chance to, get people to buy them, and I can customize them and they can get shipped out. Hey, Kay. Yeah, that's a good option as well. But the one thing I want to do is I want it to look like my style. So with the cards that I've been creating, I like to break the border, and that's something I want to keep going with the Pokemon cards. I want to make them collectible. That's the thing. The one when I was at this Pokemon show literally like a week ago, um, when I walked through this mall, there were people buying and selling these Pokemon cards, and I didn't realize, how big the market really was. I had not seen it the way that I saw it at this shop. Like every show that I've been to, it's kind of like meh. This is a small in the mall show, and all they were doing was locals and people out of like Miami and stuff like that. They all came together and they were, selling and all this kind of good stuff. What caught my eye though was this guy was buying up cards. Now, of course, they were, collectible cards, but he was throwing down. And when I tell you stacks of hundreds, I think I saw like 5 or 6 stacks of $100 bills crisp across this guy's thing. And I'm like, if that guy can just do that for that card, what if I'm able to create a custom card for people and they can't get it anywhere else? Like that's what I want to create, that experience. And I know I can do it because this is proof of the proof of concept. Yeah, I mean it's something that's extremely doable. But I'm going to show you the Pokemon that I did. This was a couple years ago. See if I can pull him up here. Where are you? Where are you? Come on, there you are. Did I not? I know I posted it. Is that last year? That might be last year. No, it's 2024. That's cool. Might have been 2 years, 3 years ago. But I did what we call June Tune, and I put it on there. So I'm gonna I'm trying to find it. Oh, here it is. So that's my Pokemon that I did there. I don't even know what Pokemon that was. It looks like Lilligant. But that right there, I just had an example. So like this piece I'm going to do again, and I could literally make that thing like pop. It would not take much at all. And I know it would do well. Because it's just having clean lines, good artwork, good ideas, and people will jump on it. What do you mean by a grab bag? So are you saying like get old Pokemon bags and then reseal them with one of the cards in it? Or do I make my own bag? Because if that's the case, I can do that for sure. That's actually a good idea. Because I think that would be more valuable to them because, they would get cards and whatnot. Pikachu grab bag. Okay. Not a gift bag. It's a grab bag, right? Um, is it something like that? Hey, how you doing, Stick Two? Because that would be cool. Make it worth their while. That's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, I like how you think. That's actually a good idea. Yeah, I just want to make it. If I can make it an experience, then people are definitely going to, come through. And then if it works, then I can tell other people to do it that are around the area. I think that looks good. I think she's in a good spot. All right, so Black Cat is done as far as like inks and all that stuff. Now I just got to go in here and start hitting up the color. So the mission is this: we have an example which looks like this. Where did I put that guy? I don't see it. Okay, well, maybe I have it in here. Okay. Yep, I do. So the goal is to get it look like that. That's what we want to do. So on that one, it's just grays and purple, and then it's outlined with this warm brown, warm gray instead of a cool gray. So it's a lot of cool grays in there. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? Let me see if I can do this still. I might be able to pull this off. I wanted to. Can I put that in there? I wanted to put pearls in here because I wanted it to look like she stole something, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off. But you know what I could do? I could do a different stone instead of pearls. I can make it another jewel. But it's all going to be about location, location, location. So it's got to come down like this. And this one will be a thin one. So go here. Because she's already got this necklace here. So we'll give her like this custom something down here. It's all going to be big. Let me see if I can find like a necklace I can use for an example. Necklace. So we could do, I think we'll do I'll do one of these. So this one's going to be like this. And it's going to come in like this. And then maybe, if we're lucky, can we put a jewel in the center? I think we could. I think that'll work. Oh, wow. You can get like 300 stickers. Let's see here. Okay, that would be very helpful. I did it, the Doom one. The Doom one, I can sell that one. If anybody wants that one, I'll put that one up on the thing. I think I'm going to make another one for my student because I've had a lot of requests for that one. Or somebody can get a custom one. Either one. Yeah, I've had a lot of interest in that one. Whoa. I almost messed up and used the wrong pen. This is going to be great. I love this. All right, that works. And then that way I can have something coming out of her hand. And it just makes more sense for the hand placement. Gabe, are you interested in that one? On the Doom one? There we go. All right, I think she looks pretty damn good. Oh, okay, no problem. I just want to double check because I didn't know if you need me to post that up there or not. So, how deep is your backlog right now, Gabe? You got a lot of commissions coming up? But are those commissions? Oh wow, that's cool. What are the odds that you would have gotten that one? That's really dope. See, that's the way to do it. Now you got those off of Whatnot? Oh, okay. Well, the good part is, you could always post those things, that process and whatnot. I know people would love that. Oh, sweet. What time my time is it? Because I haven't looked yet. I know I saw one that I did subscribe to that's coming out. So I got to get that bad boy out. Okay. Yeah, I got to go in here anyway. I got to take a look at a message real fast. Okay, let's take a look and see. Follow that one. Follow people back. Why can I not see the messages? That's weird. I have to go on my phone to see it. set up. Oh wow, look at Harley. That's pretty dope. I'm taking a look at Black Knight Customs work. That resin's super clean. It was a really good pour. Oh man, that is a badass looking Boba Fett. Jesus, that's nice. Yeah, that Boba Fett was tight. That Boba Fett is really, really good. Congratulations, Gabe. Yeah, that thing doesn't sell, I'll be shocked. Even if it doesn't sell tonight, it's gonna sell for sure. Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Yeah, it's very topical. I mean, if you have one now, um, yeah, I know people will pick that up in a heartbeat. 35. Okay. So, Gabe, the only thing I would probably tell you on your stuff is when you're posting your examples for your work, like say for example the 9 by 12 full color comic commission, the you need to show a bigger picture of your work. Yeah, because I was looking for the picture of the work, and when I just went on the I was on my computer so I could see it a little bit better. It's a smaller piece, so you definitely want people to be able to see what you do because that way, that's what catches their eye. And that's not from whatnot. That's just a marketing thing. Yeah, don't get me wrong. People, when people are walking by and you're at like a con or something like that, big in your face pricing works because they want to know what they're going to be spending their money on. However, when you're doing it online, especially from what I found on here, is that people are caught by what they see versus the price. All right, so where are my colors that I need? I only need 4 colors. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Where's my purple? Oh, there it is. That's the purple one. I need this one. And where is my... Is that right? Is that it right there? What else is that? That's the 3. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use that one instead because that was way easier. All right, so this is what I'm looking for. Yeah, see how the community's working? It's working really well. Yeah, I would have stopped by, but I was knee deep in just Super Bowl boringness. But I had great food, so I guess that's a trade off. Yeah, I would probably say that's pretty accurate on the commercial side. Yeah, the commercials were pretty boohoo. Yeah, I feel like they didn't really try hard this year. But yeah, I probably would have had a lot more fun if I had just been on here. But I had to entertain, so I didn't really have a choice on that one. I can't just have people in my house and be like, oh, I'm gonna go to work and get on whatnot. Oh my god. Let's that commercial, it was obscene and horrible at the same time. That just shows the lack of creativity. And the fact that they for some reason they decided that company, that vodka company was like, "Hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do an AI commercial." I think that's a great idea. Let's do that. That was sad. Yeah, they're trying to get people to just stay inundated with their phones. That's just not my thing. All the way around, I feel like everything was done lazily. And that's not even a word, but everything was just lazy. Um, like even down to um the fact that they charge these people $10 million for 30 minutes. The A typical trailer commercial, way better, and they were horrid. They were really bad. Yeah, I mean that's the place where you're supposed to really advertise your product. I think out of it all, the Ben Affleck Dunkin' Donuts one was the probably the best one. It was the winner for me over the night. What's going on back, Ave? Um, yeah, I don't think they really pushed hard. I'm gonna have to take a look at that one. I don't I think I might have missed that one. I mean the Budweiser one was very heartwarming, but Budweiser usually always does really good. Ben Stiller was good, yeah. I thought like the Levi's jeans one was weird. Like all I saw was a bunch of people walking around with their butts, just butts. That's all it was. And then somebody turned around and was like, "Oh, it's a Levi's commercial." That makes sense. When you have to really think about it, that's not really good. Yeah, that one was really cool. But Budweiser typically is pretty good on their commercials. They actually put some effort in. Yeah, well, if anything, that showed a lot of unity. I think that was the statement that they were trying to make underneath it all. Because Budweiser's gotten some hate, within this last couple of years. Oh, hang on for a second, guys. I gotta go run and grab my charger for this other phone, so that way I want to do a recording of this. Right back. Okay, cat. Oh, it's Bud Light. Well, nonetheless, they did a good job on it. Oh, that was just dumb. This cord does not go over there. A lot of manipulating of cords. There we go. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the creativity was really poor this year. I think, the days of having, smart marketing firms is getting tougher. And that's hard for the market. And you can see where it's really messing with things because, people just are not, the quality isn't there. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you charge me $10 million, I expect to see something dope. 30 seconds for $10 million. And it's only going to be worse next year. But again, if you're charging me that kind of obscene money, I want a great commercial. If we think back, like when they did the Kia commercials with the gerbils, that was great. The old Budweiser commercials, where's the Budweiser with the frogs? That was great marketing. But they haven't done something like that in a long time. So, but that's my rant. But again, I wish I'd been on here. Then I could have, done something that I enjoyed. I guess I could have done it and just not talked, but I don't think that would have been the best. Yeah, that was weird. I don't understand that commercial. That was just odd. Just some weird, just very odd choices. I mean, it didn't help that we had a very lackluster Super Bowl too. So I just wish I had seen some trailers for some movies. That would, I mean, some movies I really thought I would see some stuff about. Get me excited. I thought the Minions one was cute, but you could have taken that 30 seconds and done something way better with it. Don't think there's going to be. Oh, very busy. No, I did not. So you can see that tip is getting like super dry. Like that thing is like really dry. That's why we got these little refills here. They are the best. These are the better ones, I would say. Uh, when I got these from Copic, and I got to get some more before I start my show. These things are phenomenal. So this week is going to be a good week because I have a lot of things going on. Not only am I doing all these casts, these streams this week, but I go to my gallery this week and I start hanging stuff. So I'm really happy about that. And then one of my old students, he he's always wanted to be a director. He back during COVID, I wouldn't even say COVID. Back when he was a little kid, he used to collect plushie toys. Like his biggest thing was like he loves Mario. So his username is Super Mario Chris. So he would make these little films, like short films, with him doing all the voiceovers. And I was like, man, you really have a talent for this, and they're funny. So a couple of years ago, he did one, and I thought it was just a little offensive. It wasn't him, and he was doing it with a couple of friends of his. So saying some jokes and whatnot that just weren't cool. But that's besides the point. Um, he recognized that, and he took that information back, and he went back to the drawing board. And for the last year and a half, with obviously his family knew, but and close friends knew, he created his own movie, and he was fortunate enough that he rented out a theater, and he's doing a premiere this week. So his premiere will be on Friday night. It's at a very large theater too. So I thought that was really cool. So his family is supporting his craft, and this will be his first movie premiere. And I think, if anything, this will probably be something that he could pursue. because he has talent and he is funny. Um, the thing with this kid, he has some learning issues, which is not a big deal. It just means that, obviously, as you're, if you're a child that suffers from um, whatever it be, reading or mathematics or anything like that stuff, it, it seems like it can hinder you. But for him, I believe this when he gets this win, because I know it's going to be something that he's going to be proud of, and that if people really recognize it, they're going to be proud of it too. I think it's going to be a really amazing piece of artwork. So that's going to be a fun thing to participate in. Yeah, I'm super proud of him. I love supporting kids that I've worked with. And he actually reached out to me like way ahead of time before this thing was like really popping off. He's like, I really want you to come. And I was like, I will be there. I'm not missing this. Um, so we have that. And then over the weekend, I love Italian food. I mean, I wish it was authentic Italian food. That would be better. I mean, it's a little more commercialized, but that's not going to knock me. We have this festival called the Feast of Little Italy, and some folks come down from New York and all over the place, and they come and they cook food, and it's really really good. So we're going to do that. So we're going to do that. We got some wine tasting we're going to do. So it's going to be a busy weekend. So, like I said, I get to hang my stuff. That goes up on Friday. So today I'm buying some new wood to work on. I'm going to prep that and start building those up. You'll see how fast I can do one. The 24-inch ones that I work on take a significant amount of time. They usually take about, depending on the design, it could take up to like 36 hours to do one piece. I don't think I'm going to do one that large, but we'll see. And that's 36 hours from conception all the way down to final strings. So we're going to do those. And then the following weekend, we have the card show. And then our last weekend of February, I get to participate in a Black History Month art show, which is really dope. It's my busiest month yet. And I've created some pieces that I want to do for that. So I have to paint those pieces up. Yeah, so whenever you get a chance to do it, I mean, it's whenever you get a chance to, do stuff that you enjoy, why not? My wife is like, you need to get into this show. So Port St. Lucie, where I live, they're trying to really push more multiculturalism because our area is very diverse and there's a lot of interracial families and it's very family driven, whether it be families that come up from the south, like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and folks that come from like New York, Jersey, and all that stuff. So it's very mixed. Um, but recognizing Black History Month, I've wanted that for a long time. I want them to recognize all cultures because I think that's very important. They've been very good at doing like St. Patty's Day. They really started to embrace like the Spanish culture, which I think is very important. And hopefully we'll see more. Yeah, I mean, I get you. Like, this is weird. So when I first started going to my church, which was probably like it's coming on 11 years now. Myself and maybe three other people were the only people of different race that you could actually like see. Now there might have been other people that Russian descent or whatever, or European descent, but as far as like people that were in the congregation, it was just a couple of us. I would literally look around. I'm like, hey, I'm the only one. Like at certain points, I would be like that because most churches I went to, that's what it was like. But I embrace the fact that people are different. I like the fact of seeing mixed bags versus, the same cookie cutter stuff, because I think it's good for us to see different people. I think intermixing is always a good thing. I feel like, yeah, it's important for you not to lose your culture and all that stuff, and keep things together. But at the same time, it's also good to have people that like different things. You might like Coke. I like Pepsi, that kind of thing. And that's okay. It helps you be able to understand people. What? That's cool. That's a heck of a way to use your platform. That's really cool. And I probably bet, like, him doing what he's doing, because he came from the sports field, he probably had some adversity, you know, for people to believe what he was doing after his life as a sportsman. What's going on, Josh? So that's good because he could actually talk about adversity. What do you know about the church, man? All you do is play football. Which the one that just happened. The one, what, the post that he made. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think he probably went and talked about the fact of how a leader is supposed to lead by example. I'm pretty sure he went down that path. Am I wrong? Yeah, I mean, I think about it like this, and I'm glad that you and I could talk about this, and I know there's other folks on here that do as well. But um, you know, we always talk about like our families and parents and stuff like that. Like moms and dads are supposed to lead by example, and I'm glad that there's a preacher out there that's you know got the guts enough to talk about this, because people need to realize that this is bad. You're teaching division. And the more people that dismiss it, they're the problem too. Hold that man accountable for that. That was not okay. Let somebody say something bad about him and he goes ahead and he wants to sue them. I mean, it happened last week. He's like, I'm going to sue this person because he went ahead and talked shit about me. But I'm proud that he's trying to educate people, because here's the thing. Could you imagine if Jesus was like, you know what? I'm just going to talk all this madness about, all these pharaohs and all this stuff. No, he went ahead and said, even though these people are acting bad and they're being horrible people, we still have to love them. We have to teach them love. So that way, if they're in a place of power, they can teach love as well. It's crazy. I've never seen a time in my life, and I've seen a lot of presidents, and I know you have too. You've probably seen at least one more than I have. where it's created so much division. Last night, if we hadn't had the division that we had, I don't think the messages that were placed out there and the things that were done in the halftime show would have ever needed to be displayed. I am so glad, like, you know, we get this horrible message from our leader, and then the next night we get this message from a musician that shows us, hey, look, we need to be strong together. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, by us even reporting about it, yeah, that's just spreading the crap. But at the same time, as a leader, he should never be doing the stuff that he's doing. Like it's being dismissed and all that stuff. I'm not okay with that. He's not the first president we've ever had that does tweets and stuff like that, but not like on this level. I want him to do better. I really do. I really don't want our leader to be a person that I don't you know I can't say was a good person. I would never want that to happen. And I question, sometimes I'm like, what are you gonna be remembered for? What's gonna be your legacy? And I really I see more bad than good, and because I really feel like he could do great things. But again, the media and his actions are, just making things way, way worse. I think if we were able to probably stop talking about some of the things that he's doing and giving them attention, I think that might help it too. I think that's also feeding the fire. But, pastors and whatnot also definitely need to, express the fact um, that things aren't right in our world. I mean, I let's put it this way. So, politics are usually the worst time when I'm, of the year for me. Because with certain people in place, it causes people to act a certain way. There were like so when Trump was going into office the first time, like when he was running the first time, there were people that I knew in my circle that um, felt a certain way, and how they started to act, it was a lot more extreme than what they would do on a day to day basis. Like they were saying some kind of things that you're like, I don't know if I really want to know you. So at that point in time, I stopped being on Facebook altogether because it was a lot of this hate being spewed. Even though I know as their core person, that's not who they were. It was more the person that they were supporting, and they were defending their view, and that's all well and good. But just to see them completely change, I hated that. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just want things to be better. I want things to calm down. I want the temperature to be a lot cooler. I want us to focus on our country instead of worrying about other countries to take over. I really want, I would love to see these millions and millions of dollars be focused in on helping infrastructure, helping people that are homeless, um, making our schools better. That's the focus I would prefer, our leader to be focused on. We don't need to be worrying about Greenland and stuff like that. We need to make sure that we need to look at like long term peace and stuff like that. Those are the focuses. I want to make sure that when my grandkids, get older, that we have a system in place that's going to be, healthy for them, that they can afford to buy a house when they're, in their 30s, that careers will be available for them. Those are the focuses that I want to see. Don't tell me, systems like let's invest in AI and stuff like that. That's going to help our society. No, it's not. Don't tell me that bullshit. You need to look at what's going to help the normal person. Like if you're looking at a grand average of people, because that's what makes up a majority of the world, not the 1% and not the people that are sitting at the bottom. It's the people in the middle. And if we keep going this route and we keep on pushing some of these things, um, we're just going to have people that are at the bottom, and we're going to have the people at the top. It's not going to be a middle at all. And I want that to be a focus for our government. Stop worrying about problems that we don't need to deal with right now. I mean, the government shutdown was a problem for me. I even though I don't work for the government, the fact that we had to deal with no, I'm not. The fact that it was multiple folds. So, all right, so you have this government shutdown that affects. Okay, it's affecting our military. So we have military folks that cannot get paid. That's a big problem. But you want them to work. However, they're under contract, so that's a whole other thing. They're still going to get paid. Then it goes into TSA. Now, if anybody remembers back in 2021, I believe, somewhere around there, we had another government shutdown, and I was in DC when this government shutdown happened, and I was flying out of Orlando. So when you get up there and it's literally quiet, like you walk the streets and you might see like 5 or 6 people per street, right? That was weird, and it affected how we were able to travel because TSA lines got insane. Now, mind you, TSA got worse this time around because we were up to almost a month with issues where TSA people were told to work, but they were not getting paid. That's a problem. And meanwhile, we're focusing on stuff that's outside of our United States. We have a officer in command that says that he's a great negotiator. Okay, you're a great negotiator. Take your ass back to the government, go back to Washington and be like, all right, so we're going to have Republicans and Democrats sit down together. We're going to stay in this room until we get a resolution. And then we're going to open up this government again. But I want this done like ASAP. There's nothing else you're doing, and we're not moving until this gets done. That was never done. It was not a focus. And I know we have other things that are going on around the world, but we're not mom and dad to everybody else in the world. We need to focus in on us. Be a little selfish. This is a chess game. This is not a checker game. How you doing, Gorina? Um, yeah, so that's where I'm sitting on that. Because I think of the common man. What's up, Avenger? Happy Monday. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, at the end of the day, I live by the mantra of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's been my mantra for a very long time. I try to live by it. I try to treat people very well or as best as I can, and I feel like that's a missed thing. And if this man is claiming that he's a man of faith, okay, that's fine. That's good. But you need to show it. Yeah. Please don't tell me something to do completely the opposite. That's not what I want. That's not what I want for my kids. That's not what I want for people around me. I don't want division around me. And again, I'm glad that your preacher was ballsy enough to say that, because I think there are people that were in the room that were probably okay with what happened the other day or oblivious to the fact of what happened. One thing I will say is this, like, and that's helpful. That's extremely helpful. So before, who was it? Who was it? So Marsh was saying that the media makes things worse. This is one thing I will definitely say: the media that we had back in the day, and I'm talking 90s, pre-internet. Okay, I feel like there was more ethics involved back in that time. So when I say ethics, it wasn't skewed a specific way. It really was, okay, look, I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to have some journalistic integrity, and I'm going to tell the story the way it's supposed to be told, because this needs to be out there. I just don't think nowadays it's that case. It's like, what story can I put out there, good or not, and hopefully it sticks, and hopefully it'll get me an award or something like that. Screw that. Give me the truth. The other part to this is that with the media, we don't read anymore. That's a bigger systemic problem. We don't read anymore. And when you don't read, you don't put more information on the table for yourself. You don't get the full story. You just read the headline and you're like, "Oh, wow, that actually happened." And I am very I'm one of those people that's in the same boat, because I was reading stuff about Kid Rock, and I didn't realize that it was one story versus another. And if I had read deeper, I would have gotten the full story. I'm not getting on my rant on that. So, but that's something completely different. But we don't read anymore. I mean, ask the average person when the last time was that they read a book. And that's crazy that we don't do that. We'd rather look things up versus, reading. Don't get me wrong. I'll Google something, but I read what I Google. I don't just go off of what they tell me. Oh, yeah, I've heard people tell me, "Oh, I've read 14 books this year." I'm like, "Okay, you've read 14 books this year. That's cool. Um, what books did you read, and when did you read them? Can I borrow a copy?" And they're like, "Oh, no, 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 I didn't read it. I listened to it." Like, dude, no, you listened to a book. Do you read music or do you listen to music? Okay, yeah, that's the difference. Let's keep it real. Yeah, it's interesting. I think if people were to crack open a book, they'd be shocked. I talked to a girl this weekend. We were at this show over the weekend, right? And she goes like, "I've watched all the Harry Potter movies." I said, "Have you read the books? Because the books are way better." I said, "The first two movies are pretty much screen accurate to the book, but the rest of them were not." And she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, you just need to read them. They're quick reads." I said, "People get intimidated by the last books, but overall, the books aren't that big." Oh no, I'm not. I'm not fired up. I'm just speaking my piece. I look at these things, and I have a bigger issue because just like yourself, you're a teacher, right? Um, when you look at why things are happening, it frustrates you because you're like, man, I'm in my 40s. I know a lot of information. I don't know. I mean, I don't know everything, but I know a lot of information, and I can figure out, if something's like broken, what do I got to do to, fix something, right? Most kids are stuck, and I hate it. I really do. Like, I try to teach my kids how to do things, think through a problem and stuff like that. Teach them how to fail because that's important. I think achievements are definitely good, but I think if you learn how to fail, then that's a plus for you. I think I was on here like a week ago, but there's a study out there that says the kids that are from the 80s and 90s that had to play like Ataris and stuff like that, they're better equipped than people that play these achievement games like even on their phones versus their consoles because you're just on these endless journeys that are guided, and that doesn't teach you anything. You need to play something like play a Zelda. Like, get yourself an old school console, and I'm not talking about go get yourself an emulator. No, you get yourself a damn Nintendo with that little ass remote and play it, and realize, okay, you only have X lives. Like, you got to play, and if that shit just like if that console, you remember this happening to yourself when you had that Nintendo or the Sega Genesis, when that thing froze, you were having that oh my goodness moment. Like your world just crashed. And I understand that that's growth. I get the fact that we're in a world where things are different. That's all well and good, but those are the things that kids need to realize. Like I think about my son and my daughter, and I have three kids, right? And all three of them were brought up differently as far as like how we deal with like cell phones, right? So when my youngest son was growing up and he wanted to have a cell phone, number one, the first phone that he got had no internet. It had no service or anything like that. It was one of his brother's old phones. So all he could do was basically play like basic games on it, and it had very little memory. When he got his first phone, we got him like the lowest grade Android you could get. And it was set up so that way he could not go off and do all the things that he wanted to do. Okay. And he was limited, which is very good. Now, my my older son and my daughter were in a different boat. They had phones way earlier, and they got exposure to things like as far as learning the technology like super fast, but it got kind of like this addictive quality to it. Like they couldn't get away from it. Like they couldn't put it down. And it was no fault of theirs. Um, it was a fault of the system. And we had to take time sometimes to like put the phones down. The phone is kind of like what TV was to us when we were little. Like you have to take time away from the TV, you know, so that way you could focus on other things. But with cell phones, it's a little different. Like the psychology behind it is it creates this FOMO because there's so many things going on. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. Like the fact that everybody in the family nowadays has their own phone, that's crazy. I mean, mom and dad be like, you'd be like, Mom, I want my own mind. They'd be like, okay, well, it's going to cost you $25 a month. I don't have $25 a month. Okay, well, you're not getting your own line. And that's the craziness that goes on. I mean, like with my kids, they have to pay their phones. They don't get no freebies. I mean, you want to play, you want to have all your fun. Sure, you got to pay for it. Yeah, we got our kids out of that whole phase of like, I want the newest phone and all that stuff. I was like, nope. Like you got to realize you want to get a new phone and all that kind of good stuff. You gotta pay for it. We're not a family that does all of that. But I'm eligible for an upgrade. Okay, that's fine. An upgrade costs. It's kind of like when you buy a new phone. You do an upgrade for a car, you have to pay a new cost. But as a child, you don't understand those things. These are going back to the fundamental pieces. And as an educator, you kind of you especially now you kind of see where things are broken. I mean, I look at the fact like COVID, how bad it messed up a lot of the kids that I work with just today. Hell, I look at it and I'm like, how adults deal with things nowadays is weird. And we're 5 years removed. I'm sorry, 6 years removed from that. But the effect is still here. I think about it like when I go to the movie theaters, people treat movie theaters like they're their home. I believe you should be able to have a relaxing time, but you go to a movie theater, your phone goes off. You're there for an experience, and the experience is going to the movie theater. And when you start, impeding on other people's stuff, that's another issue. Now, from the educational side of things, kids don't know how to do like basic arithmetic. They don't understand how to do problem solving strategies. And I'm just speaking from my area. It's coming from other areas too, but specifically like Florida. Oh my god, that hurt Florida so bad. And yet we have this system in here, no child left behind. And I'm like, look, yes, a child needs to be left behind. A child needs to go back to the class that they didn't pass. Because when I was a kid, you didn't go to the next grade unless you passed all the pieces that you need to pass in order to get to the next grade. That was the goal. Like you had to complete the trials. Like my dad would tell me, he's like, "Don't you come over to this house with any funny looking grades." You don't want to be back there with the kids that didn't finish. And that scared me as a child because I'm like, I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to do that again. That is the worst. I mean that's the fear that would really resonate over you. And now kids don't have that fear. Kids are like, well, I could do like crappy work and I'm still going to be okay. At the end of the day, I mean, parents and adults really need to look at it like this. All right, so if you raise a child that becomes an adult that thinks like the bare minimum is okay, do you want somebody operating on you that does the bare minimum? No, I want the best. What's going on, Bailey? I want somebody that has some work ethic. But that's the society that we're raising. Quality is important. I mean, do you want to have somebody working on your car that does the bare minimum, and then all of a sudden you're driving down the road and your car just dies on you because somebody forgot to put in a screw or something like that, or tighten a valve or something like that? I mean, that's what we're living in. And we need to get back to that world of like excellence. Not doing things half-ass. You need to put in all the work. But I mean, when people think about it, I mean, these are some of the things that we have to deal with, and some of the things we have to combat. And it's not going to just take myself saying things. It's not going to take leaders. It's got to be a collective. Thank you. I told my wife asked me probably like 3 weeks ago, and she's asked me a couple times. She's like, "Do you want to run for like office? In your county? Do you want to work for the school board?" And I thought about it, but at the same time, and this is something I haven't prayed about, but I will one day if I decide to do it. Is that I don't want people trying to pick me apart. Not that I have anything that I have to worry about, but I don't want people to spend more time trying to pick me apart versus, me doing my job. And a lot of times it's what people are trying to discredit you. And I'm like, dude, I've been in this community for years. I've taught tons of students in this community, and out of this community. I want nothing but the best. And I've seen that happen with so many leaders. And I just like, you're there to do a job, and the job is to help, facilitate these kids. Like, I would love to go to Congress one day and be like, listen, I'm tired of this BS that you have. Yeah. I would love to go to Congress and be like, listen, your whole idea of teaching these kids to beat a test is not the way to go. And I wish I could go to other states and kind of see how their schooling system is. Um, but here in Florida, it's all about trying to beat this standardized testing. And that's not how it was when I was growing up. So we had the SAT and stuff like that. We had standardized testing every year. I hated it, but it was just kind of it was used to help our teachers gauge where our knowledge and see where we were at and see where our proficiencies were and deficiencies were, right? Now it's like, okay, we got to do this standardized test in order for our school to get funding in order to do X, Y, and Z. And that's not good. I mean, it needs to be like the standardized testing needs to be utilized for what it is. It's like, okay, where are these kids at? And let's get them prepared for the next level of their life. Because that's why we go to college. That's why we go to trade schools. We need the skills in order for us to move forward. And if we're just trying to teach towards a test, that's the wrong goal. That's you're teaching kids how to beat a test, and it's basically doing the same thing like our cell phones are doing, trying to beat these achievements. That's not what it's supposed to do. You have to be able to problem solve. You have to be able to move the needle forward. Okay. And that's going to make you more valuable at the end of the day. And these kids don't look at it from that aspect. Kids don't look at homework as as a as a tool to make them better. They look at it as like, you guys are giving me busy work and I don't want to do it. Okay, well, when you go to work and you come home and you have to finish the job that you didn't finish at work, what is that called? It's homework. It just has a different name to it because you're getting paid for it. You know, when teachers have to grade your stuff after work hours, it's just called work, but it's still homework. And we build these skills in our life to help us get better. It teaches us how to problem solve, it teaches us time management. And I think if us as teachers start really teaching our kids about that, our students, and be like, look, this is the reality. This is why you're doing this. You may not ever use this math that we're doing right now in your future, but you never know. You might, but you're going to be a better problem solver by learning this information. And if you set the bar at the beginning, you be real with them in the beginning, you build trust, you build a better bond, and you build a better system. It will get better. It just takes better leadership. It takes better people. All right. Looks like Black Cat's almost done. Just got to finish up this outline. This actually came out really good. I'm very happy about it. This is one of two covers I got left to do, and I'm going to send this one out probably tomorrow once I get the RC one done, but this one's done. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very proud of this one. So I have an RC that I have to do, and I'll work on her probably today, and I'll probably wrap her up tomorrow. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do her eyeballs. do that now. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of that brown in there. That way her eyes look a little different than everything else. And then once I've done that, I'm going to grab my little gel pen here. I'm going to put the little eye, little shine in her eye right there. And that's perfect. That looks beautiful. All right. Well, Gabe, I got to call it a day because I got some stuff I got to go knock out. I will be up here tomorrow, I think at 8 o'clock. So I will see you tomorrow. When are you streaming next time? All right, I will be on tonight. What time do you remember? Actually, you know what? Never mind. I can look it up real quick here, so we'll make sure. All right, so you'll be on at 10 p.m. tonight. So that's 7 o'clock your time. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna be on there tonight, so I'll see you on there later on tonight. All right, man. You have yourself a good one and have yourself a great show. I'll see you this evening.